Viswanatha Swami. Bhagwan's mother, Aragammal's brother, lived in Dindigul. His wife died soon after giving birth to a son. Bhagwan's parents brought the orphaned child, Ramaswamy, to their home and raised him with much affection and care. Just before Bhagwan was born, Mother Aragammal told the midwife, "I am very excited. I want this to be a girl who can be the wife to my brother's son." That night in Tiruchuri, when Bhagwan was born, the blind midwife shouted, "Aragu, it is a boy. Be happy. I saw a brilliant light. Aragu, rejoice." Aragammal was disappointed that it was not a girl. And in her disappointment, she overlooked this remarkable incident of the blind midwife seeing a brilliant light. In his later years, Ramaswamy became a lawyer known for his upright character. He was also a strict disciplinarian who was held in high regard because of his service to society. One of his sons was Viswanathan. Like his brothers, Viswanathan was brilliant and gifted with a sharp intellect. Along with his brothers, he too was deeply involved in India's freedom movement. In 1921, when still in college, he was arrested for opposing the British government. The university examinations were to be held, so his father bailed him out. But instead of going to his house in Dindigul, he got off at Tiruvannamalai to meet his uncle Venkataraman, now known as Ramana Maharshi. This is how he describes his very first encounter with Bhagwan's glance of grace. Bhagwan was standing in an open space in front of Skandashram. When I first laid eyes on him, I saw in him something quite arresting, which clearly distinguished him from all the others I have seen. He seemed to live apart from the physical frame, as though quite detached from it. His look and smile had a remarkable spiritual charm. When he spoke, his words seemed to come out of an abyss. One could see immaculate purity and non-attachment in him and in his movements. I sensed something very refined, lofty, and sacred about him. In his vicinity, the mind's distractions were overpowered by an austere and potent calm. In his presence, the unique bliss of peace was directly experienced. This I would call Ramana Lahari, the blissful atmosphere of Sri Ramana. In this ecstasy of grace, one loses one's sense of separate individuality, and there remains something grand which pervades all and devours all. This indeed is the spirit of Arunachala, which swallows up the whole universe in its gracious effulgence. It is no wonder that after this experience of ecstasy, Viswanathan stayed on for a few days. Bhagwan's mother Aragammal and Bhagwan's brother Chinnaswamy were also present. They knew Viswanathan from his childhood days and were aware that he was a Sanskrit scholar. Even at that tender age, they asked him to recite some holy Sanskrit verses. When the recitation was over, Bhagwan slowly turned his attention to Viswanathan and said, "You have learnt all this. This was not so in my case. Before I came here, I knew nothing. I learnt not a thing. Some mysterious power took possession of me and induced a thorough transformation. Whoever knew then that this would happen to me? Your father, who intended in his boyhood to go to the Himalayas to perform tapas, became the head of a large family, and I, who knew nothing, have been drawn and kept here for good. When I left home in my 17th year, I was like a speck swept away by a tremendous flood. I knew neither my body nor the world, whether it was day or night. It was difficult to even open my eyes. My eyelids seemed to be glued down. My body became a mere skeleton. Visitors pitied my plight because they were not aware of how blissful I was. It was only years later that I happened to look into some of the books on Vedanta, which were brought to me, that I came across the term Brahman. I was amused and asked myself, is this experience known as Brahman? Viswanathan had to leave. As he bade farewell with a heavy heart, Bhagwan handed him a copy of Sri Ramana Gita. It contains Bhagwan's answers to questions put by Kavya Kantha and his disciples. and is invaluable to every seeker. While giving it to him, Bhagwan said, "Give it to your father and ask him to read it." Viswanathan studied it thoroughly in Dindigul. He was immersed in studying it, particularly chapter 18, wherein Bhagwan's greatness is extolled in exquisite Sanskrit poetry. This moved him so deeply that he decided to give up the world and go stay at the holy feet of Bhagwan. In January 1923, he went back to Tiruvannamalai without informing his parents. By this time, Bhagwan had already come down to the present Ramanashramam. When he presented himself, Bhagwan's first question was, "Did you leave any letter or tell your parents about coming here?" Viswanathan shook his head. "I did it when I left my home. Why did you not do it? Now write a letter to your parents that you're safe and sound here," Bhagwan instructed. Bhagwan then permitted him to stay. Viswanathan discovered that Bhagwan's power and presence was so strong that he did not need any formal sadhana. But still he studied Bhagwan's works thoroughly and worked in the ashram in Bhagwan's inspirational presence. The more he studied Bhagwan's teachings, the stronger his conviction became that the mere presence, the mere proximity and company of Bhagwan was more than enough. His conviction grew even stronger when he later read one of Bhagwan's verses in the supplement to 40 verses on reality. When one associates oneself with the company of a sage, there is no need for religious and spiritual practices, just as there is no need for a fan when the cool southern breeze blows.